circling around on the far side of the marsh now, because I heard the second owl calling from this side. So I'm just gonna follow the trail and see if maybe it's perched up somewhere on the edge of the marsh. White-tailed deer crossing in front of me. Talk about a good start to the morning. So there are actually 5 deer. 2 of them crossed the trail in front of me, and then the other 3, I guess they spotted me or smelled me, and they took off in the opposite direction, and they ended up crossing down the opposite side of this field. Whew. That was a great start to the morning. I was making my way to follow those 2 deer that crossed the trail, and I was kind of trying to slowly go through the forest, which was pretty hard because there was frost all over the leaves. But I had to stop because I found a pileated woodpecker that was up on a tree and didn't really mind I was there, so I got a couple angles of him, but then it flew off to go after another pileated woodpecker, and I came across this trail that goes along a marsh. And I just kind of been sitting here for the past half hour, 45 minutes, because there's all sorts of species of birds around. There's all sorts of woodpeckers, brown creepers, nuthatches, chickadees. In fact, the chickadee got so close to me that I couldn't even focus on it anymore. It got so close. And there was even a hermit thrush down by the water, so that was really neat. But I seem to be in a lull now, so I'm going to head back down in the direction I was planning on going, down towards the reservoir, to see if anything's down that way. I was walking down the trail and I ended up spooking the deer that I had seen first thing this morning. They apparently came down this direction, which makes sense, and I didn't see them, but I heard them snort, and then they took off running for a little while. So I decided to sit down and camp down behind this little fallen log here, and they ended up coming back down the hill towards me. Whew. They were probably about 15 yards away, but they knew I was there the whole time. They just didn't know where exactly I was. They just knew I was around. So they're very cautious, which was unfortunate. I would have much more enjoyed if they came down and then were eating and were just kind of more natural. So it's a shame that they were so wary of me, but I stayed still, and they ended up going up the hill farther. I think they caught my scent because the wind started blowing this direction, and they took off, so they're up the hill farther now. So I'm gonna continue on, see what else I can find. Found a great horned owl. Problem is, it's about 150 yards away from me across a pond, and it's tucked up under a branch. I was coming down the hill, and there's all of these dead pines that are sticking out of the water, the marsh, and it must have been perched on one of those, because then it flew, and I saw it fly over the water, and then it landed across the way. Man, I wish I'd seen it in the tree before it flew. That's what happens sometimes, though. I've decided I'm going to try to loop around and see if I can get closer. Really don't want to disturb it, so I think I can get around this water and manage to get a little bit closer to it. But we'll see if I can relocate it again after I get around. It's going to take me a few minutes to get around, so over the course of the next few hours, I slowly walked through the woods to try to relocate the owl. I used the sound of the blue jays alerting to its presence to help locate it, and I was able to find it perched up in a hemlock tree. I attempted to move slowly around where it was to try to find a clear view of it, but I was unfortunately unable to do so. Instead, I decided I was going to leave it perched up in its tree and come back the next evening to see if it was still there. And hopefully it would be in a more open area to photograph. I was happy to be able to leave it still perched up in its tree. The next afternoon, I started walking down towards where I'd seen the great horned owl, and I was really excited and really hoping that it was still going to be there in the same area. It didn't take long for me to relocate the owl, and to my surprise, there were actually two of them. Alright, I just saw one. See it in the tree that I thought it flew into. So I'm just going to keep creeping farther forward. I think it flew into a different tree. So I'm just going to go as slowly and as quietly as I can. I'm so upset right now. I thought the owl was in a white pine, but I couldn't get a clear view of it. And I was searching all along the pine, couldn't find it, so I decided it wasn't in that tree. So I kept creeping forward, slowly, and I look up, and the owl is right up in the pine that I thought it was in. So I froze, I stayed still for about 3 minutes. It was looking away from me, so I didn't think it cared that I was there. So I slowly started to crouch down to get my camera set up, and it flew. Oh man, that's so annoying. If I had seen it in that tree, I wouldn't have gotten nearly as close as I was. It would have been a perfect shot. The sun was right on it. Oh man. And it flew over to a spot of the bog. So I'm just gonna make my way over there and see if I can see it, but man, it's so frustrating. Onto a tree in the bog. Flew out of the woods and landed on a tree, a dead pine tree that's in the marsh. It only stayed there for maybe 15-30 seconds, but Well, I packed up, and I think that's going to be it for the owls for tonight, because some dirt bikers just came through and both of them went flying back deeper into the woods. So they were still in the area, but fortunately they got scared away. I know you're not supposed to dirt bike here, but why would people follow the rules? I decided to go over to this observation deck on the marsh, and I stood there for a few minutes hoping that maybe the owls would come back and perch on one of the trees in the marsh, but no such luck. So I'm gonna head up now. Maybe there'll be something up there, but maybe not. Either way, I'm happy. I mean, I'm annoyed that I flushed the owl out, but I'm also annoyed that dirt bikes came through, scared them away. But I was able to get a really, really nice shot of the owl perched in the dead pine, and a short little clip of it before it flew off. So I'm glad they're still here, and hopefully I can come back again and not be disturbed and get some more footage of them. So I'm gonna go up to this field now. It's getting darker and colder, so I'm not too sure how much time I'm gonna have. Probably just walk up there and see if there's anything out and about, and then start heading out. Where I've seen the owls, and today I'm not going to put on the camouflage because it seems like the past 2 days that I had it on, they were still very aware that I was there. And the owls have fantastic eyesight, so I guarantee even if I have my camouflage on, they would still see my face that doesn't have camouflage on. So I think the more important thing is going to be just being very quiet. So I'm going to stay on the trail so that I can go quicker and farther and still be quiet. We'll see if this works. Well, I found one of the owls. I was able to creep around and I got pretty close to it. It was about 25 yards away from it. I was going really slow, really quiet, and there's all sorts of branches in the way. So I tried to go around in front of it, hoping that if I could get more in front of it, the branches wouldn't be covering its face and everything. And I went all the way around as far as I could, and there were just branches everywhere. It was enclosed in branches, so I couldn't get a clear shot of it. But as I was coming back this way to leave it, a coyote came traipsing down the trail and actually crossed directly under it and went out into the marsh. So the owl was actually watching the coyote go. Oh man. Fortunately, I didn't get anything of the coyote because I was in such disbelief as what I was seeing. But oh man. But I'm gonna head out now. Kind of go back to where there's more of an opening, and I'm gonna sit there for a couple minutes, and maybe the owls will come out and perch more out into the open and start to hunt. Because right now I'm not gonna be able to get a decent shot of it, so I'm just gonna continue heading out and we'll see what happens. You can hear him calling. There are two of them still. I'm circling around on the far side of the marsh now, because I heard the second owl calling from this side. So I'm just going to follow the trail and see if maybe it's perched up somewhere on the edge of the marsh. Well, that was awesome. I swung around to the other edge of the marsh to where I heard the other great horned owl that was hooting, and once I got around about halfway around the marsh, I'm presuming he flew out from the tree line and actually landed in the center of the marsh on one of the dead white pines. So I was able to get a short video clip of him. He started hooting, and then the owl that I was photographing earlier started hooting, and he went, and they're definitely a mated pair. Kind of saw the flapping and heard the mating calls, so it's awesome. Awesome that they're still around, awesome that they're hanging out, and that they're mating. I was looking around looking for a nest, and I didn't see one, so I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that. But that would be awesome if there'd be some owlets in the spring. It's definitely a good sign, that's for sure. So that's gonna be it for me today. They're back in the forest. It's getting pretty dark down there, and the park closes at sunset, so I'm gonna head out. But that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the footage of the great horned owls that they got the past couple of days, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.